السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين.
Assalamu alaikum, my dear friends. Hope you're doing well. Before we begin our session today, we're going to recite a loud salawat. And then we are going to recite Surah Fatiha. So let's begin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajahum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladh-dhalim. Sadaqallahul Aliyyul Azim. Today I am going to talk about daughters and sisters. Some of you have older sisters at home. Some of you have younger sisters at home. A daughter is the most beautiful flower of your garden because they blossom with great blessings and as a reward in the life of parents. Daughters are real love and heart warmers. There is no important and greater father and daughter relationship than Prophet Mohammad and Bibi Fatima alayhi salam. The Prophet said, whoever pleased Fatima has indeed pleased Allah, and whoever has caused her to be angry has indeed angered Allah. Fatima is a part of me. Whatever pleases her pleases me, and whatever angers her angers me. Can you imagine how much Prophet Muhammad used to love Bibi Fatima? And we've even heard about Imam Hussain, who often used to say, a house without Sakina would not be worth living in. Why do you think Imam Hussain said that? Do you know Imam Hussain one day wanted a special gift from Allah? And he said, "Oh Allah, please give me a daughter who will bring peace in my heart and my home. I will name her Sakina." Because Sakina comes from the word sukoon, and sukoon means peace. And guess what? Allah granted Imam Hussein's wish. And on the 20th of Rajab, 57 AH, in Medina, Princess Sakina was born. She was very much loved by Imam Hussain and her mother Bibi Rabab. There are a lot of lessons we can learn from Bibi Sakina. One, she was a lover of Allah. She always prayed on time, no matter what happened. At the age of 4 years, Bibi Sakina used to recite the Holy Quran. And this tells us that we must learn to read the Quran and understand what it says. She was very generous and always shared anything she had with everyone. Another thing Bibi Sakina showed us was patience. At all times, imagine she remained thirsty and hungry in Karbala. That teaches us that we must not complain if we have to wait for something. We can be patient until it's time for the right thing to come up. Bibi Sakina was a source of strength. She was brave for the other children in Karbala, especially when Hazrat Abbas went to get water from the river Furat. Remember, she used to stand with the other children and tell them, "My uncle Abbas is going to bring water." She used to help others. Even at a young age, she was there for everyone. Just as Bibi Sakina respected and listened her parents, we should always respect and listen to our parents. These are a few lessons that we learn from Bibi Sakina's life. And I know some of you really love Bibi Sakina because she was the age that you all are at. And she went through a lot of things. Bibi Sakina sacrificed her whole family for Islam. We should be willing to sacrifice and give up little things. And we can start by maybe giving our chance of sitting next to the window when we are driving to school, where our mommies and daddies are driving to school and we want to sit next to the window. We can give that up and let our sibling have that chance. That is sacrifice. Let us take our hearts to Karbala. Let us think of that 4-year-old who was heartbroken. She was thirsty with no father or uncle, no one by her on the 10th of Muharram, when Imam Hussain, together with his family members and friends, gave their lives for the sake of Islam. Bibi Sakina was so alone in the darkness in the land of Karbala. She started crying. You know, she used to say, "Oh Baba, the tents were burned down and so were my clothes." Then came a man towards me. I began to shake and my heart started beating faster. Baba, he pulled my earrings off my ears. My clothes were all drenched in blood, Baba. He slapped my face. I lost my balance and fell on the dirt. I cried out so loud. Can you imagine that 4-year-old? I cried out loud to Uncle Abbas. I told him Shimmer is beating me. No one came for my rescue, Baba. I continued to cry. Baba Jan, what should I say? What should I say about this distress and pain? Let me tell you of my pain, Baba. Look, my cheeks. They are turned into blue bruises, Baba. How can someone do that to an orphan? I looked at Shimmer and I shaked from fear. I hid behind my brother Sajjad. Baba, everyone's arms were tied, but my neck was tied. Every time they pulled the rope, I could not breathe. I walked on my toes. The journey from Kufa to Sham. Baba, I used to faint because of the tight rope on my neck. Everybody calls me an orphan. Does one become an orphan and a prisoner when the father dies? Bibi Sakina was taken as a prisoner by the enemies from Karbala to Kufa and then to Sham. During the evening hours, she would stand by the prison and see the birds flying, she would ask her Auntie Zainab, Auntie Zainab, where are these birds going? And Bibi Zainab would tell her, Dear Sakina, these birds are flying to their homes. So she would ask Auntie Zainab, are we gonna go home? But you know what? This question remained unanswered. Bibi Sakina never got to go home. One night, Bibi Sakina had a dream. She dreamt about her father, Imam Hussain. Suddenly, she woke up and she started crying so loud, so hard that it awoke the ruler Yazid. And he asked his guards. He's like, who is crying so loud and why? So the guards told him, it is the daughter of Hussein. She is remembering her father. That's why she's crying. So Yazid took the head of Imam Hussain and sent it in the prison. When little Sakina saw Imam Hussein's head, she hugged it so tight. You all have your daddies. You all love your daddies. Can you imagine what the 4-year-old girl is going through? She hugged her daddy's head and she cried. She kissed it. And then suddenly she was quiet. Bibi Zainab and Imam Sajjad looked at her and found that she had already left the world. May Allah give us all the opportunity to visit the ziyarah of Bibi Sakina, the daughter of Imam Hussain, and convey our salams personally to her, inshallah. This is the time you should put your hands up and pray. Pray for all your hajats. Pray to that little Sakina, because when I was little, just the way I mentioned in my other video that Bibi Fatima Zahra comes to our Muharram corners, I was told wherever there is a majlis of Imam Hussain, Bibi Sakina is always present. Can you imagine how lucky we are to have the presence of Bibi Sakina? Okay, so we have a craft today. Because remember, we have to make something for our Muharram corners. And we decided to make a prison that Bibi Sakina was kept in. So for that, you will need a canvas. It can be any colored canvas. I decided to use a black canvas. You can even use cardboard if you don't have a canvas. I printed out a prison background and cut it out in that shape. I cut out a small girl. I cut out birds, about 4 birds. I printed them out and I cut them out. I cut out something that said, Little Sakina, noticing the birds over the prison sky. Auntie Zainab, she asked, where do they fly? Home she never reached. In Sham did she die. And then I printed out a few lessons that we learned from Bibi Sakina. And that was patience, giver of sukoon, sacrifice for Islam, love of Allah, love for the Quran, being helpful. And I cut it out so we can put it on our canvas. You'll need a glue stick or glue. You'll need crayons or color pencils, whatever you prefer to use. And you'll need a pair of scissors. And so let's begin our craft for today. You take your cutout of the prison that you printed. You put glue all over the corners. So that you can stick it properly on the canvas. And then we're gonna put it right in the middle here. Make sure you stick it really, really well so it doesn't come off. And then you can take your paper that has wordings of Bibi Sakina on it. And stick it on top over here. So whenever you see your craft, you remember the story of little Sakina. And then you can color your birds, whatever color you want. So let me see, I'll choose a red. And I'll color my bird red. And I love using markers because it's faster and the color shows really well. And I'll take a blue maybe. And color the other bird. And then I'll take a yellow. And maybe an orange. So we'll have our 4 birds ready here. And I chose 4 birds because that reminds me that Bibi Sakina was 4 years old. So then you can take your glue and we can stick the birds. Because remember, Bibi Sakina used to see the birds going home and she would ask her auntie Zainab, so then we're going to take the little girl and we're going to stick her right in the middle. Right there. And then I cut out something that looks like a prison door. So you can stick it, put glue really, really well so it sticks, and put it over right from the bottom here. And from the same cutout that I made, I had extra pieces of paper, so I just put something like hinges to the prison gate. And then the last thing that we have is our papers that have the lessons that we learned from Bibi Sakina. So you can glue all of them and you can glue them right here. So she sacrificed for Islam. She was always patient. Remember when she was hungry and thirsty? She was patiently waiting. And you can put them any way you like. Whatever way you want to put it. She had the love of Allah. Remember, she used to always pray on time. She was the giver of sukoon. Because remember, Imam Hussain asked Allah to bless her with a daughter who he would name Sakina, which comes from the word sukoon. She was always helpful. She helped the children in Karbala. And She was the lover of Quran. She, at the age of 4, she used to recite the Holy Quran. So you can always put it the way you want. And we're done with our craft. So this should be your craft. This is how it should look like at the end for your Muharram corner. Jazakallah. Keep me in your du'as.